TCMradio.com.
Hi, I'm Robert Osborne. Thanks so much for joining us. For the last 6 weeks, every Monday and Tuesday at this time, we've devoted to our Story of Film Festival, inspired by the 15-part documentary of the same name by Mark Cousins. Well, last night we premiered episode 6, which looked at how world cinema was in full flourish in the 1950s. We also showed several examples of landmark international movies from that era. Well, for the next several hours, we're going to show you examples of what Hollywood was doing during that same period. We begin with the film that looked at the life of teenagers in a way that no major movie had done before. The movie is Rebel Without a Cause from Warner Brothers in 1955 and stars James Dean in what was his most defining role. It's a project which had actually been kicking around Hollywood for years. At one point, Marlon Brando was even considered for the lead. In fact, a few weeks ago, Brando's screen test for Rebel Without a Cause found its way onto the internet and is definitely worth a watch. Eventually, the project was assigned to director Nicholas Ray, and it was under his guidance that the storyline was drastically changed with a new screenplay by Stuart Stern, and it finally went into production. Now, the story focuses on a restless teenager struggling to relate to his parents and his peers and feeling like an eternal outsider, his closest allies being a young girl who adores him and a young boy who also feels like an outsider, played in the movie by Natalie Wood and Sal Mineo, both of whom earned Oscar nominations for their supporting performances. As for James Dean, he also received an Oscar nomination that year as Best Actor, but not for Rebel Without a Cause. It was actually for another movie from 1955, East of Eden. It turned out to be a posthumous nomination. On September 30th, 1955, just 4 weeks before Rebel Without a Cause opened in theaters, Jimmy Dean was killed in a car accident, something which fanned an explosion of added interest in this film and him, an interest that continued for years and years after. So from 1955, directed by Nicholas Ray, we bring you Rebel Without a Cause.